in Austin.
All right, everybody. So I want to talk about the midterms, and Slate has a good article. It said because there was a lot of these ballot initiatives that are always progressive, it seems like, or a lot of them were, and a lot of them won. So that's what we're going to talk about. Red state voters expanded Medicaid, legalized marijuana, and increased the minimum wage on Tuesday night. By the way, when the minimum wage is on the ballot, it seems like it almost always wins.
Weird.
Weird.
People want to get paid fairly.
Isn't that something?
Interesting.
If you want to motivate, if you instead of just telling people vote, make sure you vote. What you can do is go, hey, we put something on the ballot that's actually in your interest to vote for. You should go vote for that instead of just vote. You should go vote for this because it's good for you. So here's some of them. So while I had people, they also backed a ballot initiative to legalize medical marijuana. So in Utah, this is about in Utah. So they elected Mitt Romney. But guess what they also did? They also backed a ballot initiative to legalize medical marijuana that has been opposed by the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints. That's what they did in Utah. So we've been saying this for years, that people's attitudes are progressive in the country. They just don't know it. And they're caught up in this Republican Democrat. They can't, because they hate, like, for instance, you go to a red state, they just hate the Democrats. And they see all the negatives about them. And even if they're for a good thing, they can't bring themselves a lot of times to vote for them. And I think that's what this is. In frickin' Utah, they voted for legalized marijuana. And then in Utah, they also chose to expand Medicaid. That's in Utah. In Utah, same people who voted for Mitt Romney voted to expand Medicaid and legalize weed. Versions of this story played out all through the night as progressive ballot initiatives on marijuana, the minimum wage, voting rights, and Medicaid passed in red and blue states alike. A reminder that even in parts of the country where Democrat politicians aren't popular, many of their issues still very much are. You know, it's like, so you say you have something popular like Medicare for all. So then if Hillary Clinton pushes it, a lot of people on the right are not going to want to vote for her anyway. Do you see how you have to have the policy matched with the right person? And some people just aren't going to vote for a Democrat. Along with Utah, blood red Idaho and Nebraska also embraced Medicaid expansion. I'm going to say Utah, Idaho, and Nebraska. There's got to, what about 500 people live in those three states combined? Each state gets 2 senators. And they're look what they're for, Medicaid expansion. Missouri residents voted to gradually increase the state's minimum wage to $12 an hour and to legalize medical marijuana, all while sending moderate Democrat Claire McCaskill packing in favor of the state's conservative Attorney General, Josh Hawley. With the left hand, Arkansas passed a minimum wage hike. With its right, it reelected Governor Asa Hutchinson, a Republican, who would oppose that measure. So this is telling me that people in those states are for progressive ideas. They just can't cotton to the Democratic Party, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the party of Clinton, and it's the party of Obama,
Pelosi,
and Chuck Schumer. So Florida also passed a felon reenfranchisement bill, restoring voting rights to 1.4 million individuals, giving progressives an iota of hope for the Sunshine States. So get this. So Gillum loses in Florida, yet they pass this, the felon reenfranchisement bill. And as a lot of people predicted, Kyle Kulinski, Mike Figueredo, it was not a good idea for Gillum to campaign with Hillary Clinton and Debbie Wasserman Schultz, 2 of the most unpopular people in the state, if not the country. And look, so the people came out, they voted progressive. They just couldn't cotton to vote for Gillum. And isn't that funny? And I think it had to be because they just couldn't bring themselves to vote for a Clinton associate.
I think that's a big part. I think one of the things that this past election has shown us is there are two things, and one turned out to be enough to cause the person to lose. One wasn't quite enough to help the person win, but there's such a thing as a Beyonce bump that Beto got in Texas, and there's such a thing that I like to refer to as the Hillary hump, which if Hillary helps you, you got to overcome.
You got to overcome
she
that.
hurts you. Yep.
There's no doubt Hillary hurt Gillum in Florida. There's no
Absolutely.
doubt that hurt him.
Absolutely.
No doubt. And you know, we were hoping that Gillum won. We were telling that he is using bad strategy. A lot of people, again, blatantly lying about what we say here at the show. We've always encouraged people to vote for Gillum. We always said that he was being screwed over by the party. As we predicted, look at that. So what doesn't that tell you something? What does that that tells me the problem wasn't the progressive policies. Colorado and Michigan both adopted nonpartisan redistricting commissions to avoid congressional gerrymandering in the future. A handful of states passed automatic or same-day voter registration. Now get this. I love this is how the Slate ends their this is how they end the article. Healthcare, higher wages, and getting high. Democrats could pick a worse platform. So just keep that in mind. If there was a nation, Kyle Klinsky was talking about this today. But if there was a nationwide ballot initiative, that's what we need. How about we get a nationwide ballot initiative to end the wars?
Yeah. No kidding.
It would pass with flying colors.
Yeah.
I bet you'd be 70%.
I think so too, and that's one of those things. The one thing that made me a little optimistic. And there were some things to be optimistic about, some things to be discouraged about, like most midterms. But people entertain this idea that the Americans don't care about policy, and I don't buy it for 1 second. People were excited to get up and vote for wages, and to vote for pot, and to vote to end gerrymandering. And even here in California, which the results were not what I was hoping for, but when I walked to my polling place to go vote, I didn't see one sign for an official. I didn't see one sign for anybody. I saw a lot of signs for 10. I saw a lot of signs for a public bank. Those were all the signs I saw. So I think people are awake to policy ideas that are out there.
They spent $75 million to defeat that Prop 10 in California.
They did.
$75 million to defeat Prop 10. It just is a matter of money. It really was.
Mm-hmm.
So that was rent control here in California. They've pretty much eliminated rent control in California going forward. So that was to give municipalities the ability to reinstate rent control.
Mm-hmm.
And let's remember, inside every rent control law is the provision that says the landlord gets to make a fair profit. No one loses money. Anyway, Democrats, let's see if they go for health care, higher wages, and getting high. Democrats could pick a worse platform. Let's see, because right now the Democrats don't have a platform. Their platform is we don't like Trump. That's their platform. What? No Trump, but we're against Trump. What are you guys for? We're for good things, and we're against bad things. Are you for ending the wars? No. In fact, we're
foreseeing a tax return.
Yeah. So again, we're in the same. Again, it's nice that the Democrats took over the Congress, but we're in the same position we were before. We have horrible Democrats leading the Democratic Party. There really isn't an opposition party. And they won't run on things that people want. The Democrats will not run on ending the wars, Medicare for all, free college, and a living wage. That's all you got to do. Okay. And I'm a Jagoff nightclub comedian. I can see it. Our next live Jimmy Dore show is February 1st in Burbank, California. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a list of all our live shows, and please become a premium member if you can. Become a patron. It's the way we support this show because they're coming at us, and we give you bonus. We give you hours of bonus material every week. Check it out. Become a patron. And if you can, make sure you're still subscribed. They unsubscribe people every day. I know it sounds crazy. It only takes a second. Please make sure and click that bell when you subscribe so they'll send you a notice